Pull the Christmas lights out of storage and pop some Eggos into the toaster. We've got some new details on Stranger Things Season 2. I'm Hector Navarro, and this is Screen Junkies News. Arguably, one of the biggest breakout pop culture hits of last year was Netflix's Stranger Things, some would say the best movie of the year. The second season is one of the most highly anticipated events of this year. We got a trailer for the upcoming season at the Super Bowl, but now, thanks to an exclusive from Entertainment Weekly, we've got a bunch of new details. We finally got some plot details of the new series that stars Winona Ryder, David Harbour, and the most adorable gang of young rapscallions that you've ever seen since the Goonies. Here to help me break it down is an expert panel. We've got Avital Ash, Roth Cornett, and Dan Merle. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Great to see you. Let's get into some Stranger Things. First of all, before we do, gotta mention this. Heads up, everybody. We're talking about the thing you clicked on the video that it is about, which means full spoilers from all of Season 1.
Yeah.
So this is the heads up. If you're one of the 8 people that hasn't seen Season 1 of Stranger Things, we're going to talk about it right now. Okay, guys, so here's where we left off. So when we last left the gang, it was 1983. Great year. Return of the Jedi came out that year, right, Dan?
Yeah, it's true.
Fantastic.
Yes, it did.
Will Byers had just returned from the Upside Down. He was regurgitating some weird interdimensional slugs. 11 had disappeared. The Demogorgon had been destroyed. Cats and dogs living together. Let's get into some what Entertainment Weekly is saying. First question. Let's start with Winona Ryder's character. She's apparently got a new boo. She's dating some guy. It's not David Harbour. That's not who it is. This is a new character played by Sean Astin, a guy named Bob. And before you say, whoa, Sean Astin doesn't look like a Bob, I have to mention he played a Bill in Adam Sandler's movie Click. That's close enough for me. That's close enough.
A Bill's still not a Bob.
It's
though.
okay, fair enough, Roth, fair enough. But question to you guys, how can Winona Ryder's character, how can she maintain a relationship after what she saw? Do you think that she's told this guy about what she went through?
Well, she went through a lot.
Yes.
It was pretty obvious that she was quite distraught. So I think it'd be hard to hide something like that. Maybe this is what they bonded over. Maybe it's a trying time. I mean, I know we're picking up probably about a year after the first series,
Okay.
so there's been some time to heal. But that character is one who wears Joyce who wears her emotions on her sleeve. So I think it would be hard to hide a traumatic event such as that.
Yeah. Roth, any thoughts about Joyce maybe maintaining a relationship? What do you think?
I will say this, and maybe it's my affinity for Twin Peaks. I don't trust a Bob. I don't. So, like, already just out of the gate,
You know,
I do not trust him.
You're kind of right. I have a cousin named Robbie. He doesn't go by Bob, but
Yeah.
Robbie, I trust a Robbie.
I
Robbie's
trust
a good
Robbie.
dude.
That's
Robbie's
a good guy.
dude. Robbie's
you
a
know?
good guy. That's right.
He's solid. So, and the other thing too is that she sort of had a maybe will they or won't they with Sheriff Hopper.
That's right.
So is this going to become kind of a love triangle? What's happening there? She said that she's looking for a father figure for her sons, but again, I feel like that just goes down the path of the stepfather and turns very dark very quickly.
We saw a little bit of that in Season 1. That's right. Avatar, what do you think? Is Winona Ryder going to maybe get with this Hopper guy, or is she going to stay with Bob? What do you think?
To Roth's point that Bobs tend to not be good guys.
Yes.
Considering the flirtation with David Harbour's character in Season 1, I wonder if this is actually going to be a villain who's sort of like swooping in and charming her, and then we're just rooting for her to end up with a good guy.
Listen, let's get real crazy conspiracy theory with it. Could this Bob character, even though he's an old high school classmates of Joyce's apparently, could he have been recruited by the lab? Could he be like a government agent? Could it be somebody that's like, tell me more about what did you go through last
If
year?
science
like that.
fiction has told me anything, it's that when strange things are afoot with shadowy government networks, trust no outsiders. Newcomers are to always be suspected.
It's true. I like
That
that,
is
we
an excellent
arrived
point.
here because of his name being Bob.
That's
Primarily.
it. Basically. All right, guys, let's move on to this
Extreme
next.
prejudice
This next
against all
talking
Bobs.
point. Yeah, to any Bob watching right now, sorry, you're just a jerk.
My
We don't trust
dad's
you.
name
Sorry.
is Bob, literally.
Case in point. No, I'm just kidding, Roth. Your dad is fantastic. Okay, guys, let's talk about Sheriff Hopper for a second, all right? David Harbour did an awesome job playing him last season. His job is going to be to apparently keep everything under wraps, like the disappearance of Barb, and at the same time, he's doing this to protect Joyce. How do you guys think aware everybody in the town is of what happened? Do you think that he's working with the lab now? Let's just get into this character a little bit.
Well, they're going to have to explain the fact that there's a dead kid who's now obviously back somehow. So it's going to have to figure out how to explain that. Like,
Did people, like, know
remember
about
that
the body that
we
was
pulled
found?
out of the...
Right.
Oops, that wasn't him. That's going to be an interesting thing to kind of cover up. I don't know how it's going to do that. I always wondered that myself, was how many
How aware
people
of
in
the
the town actually, because these were electromagnetic effects. There was stuff that you would think some people would have noticed. that could be part of what this is about. Is
Absolutely.
how widespread this whole thing was.
Yeah. Roth, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like he's just going to be putting out fires, right? But he also, we see in the teaser that it looks like he's burying something.
Ooh, that's right.
We don't know what it is, but how far does he have to go in order to cover this up? And then why? Is he just trying to protect the town? Is he involved with the lab?
It's a great question. Just before we get to you, Avatal, there's a quote that David Harbour said. He said it kind of falls on Hopper to be the voice of authority to say this did happen and this didn't happen. He's been struggling with the compromise that takes him to having to lie and cover things up. Do we think that he's working with the lab? What do we think?
The end of season 1 made it seem that way.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by the
Is he a good
ending.
guy or bad guy?
Yeah, we don't really know. We've seen him kind of err on the side of doing the right thing, but maybe it's, maybe he veered off course. Maybe it's not what he was supposed to do.
Maybe it's not what he's supposed to do. A question for you guys, too, and maybe the internet, I'm sure, is going to know immediately. I forget, right at the end of that last episode of season 1, how long was it before we saw that little epilogue? Because it didn't say something like a 1 month later or 2 or 3. How many weeks?
He also sold a lemon out. Our producer, Justin, is
Yeah.
reminding us. Thank you, Justin.
Whoa.
And
Yeah.
Charlie.
That's true. Oh, that's true. He did do
Interject,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Well, to trade for Will. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. And remember, when he walked away, when he got into that car and went and worked for the lab, did the lab convince him of something like, look, yes, a kid maybe went missing, but this is the bigger picture. This is what we're trying to do. This is the science we're trying to accomplish. Don't you agree that that's for the greater good? And maybe David Harbour's character was like, okay, I work for you guys now.
The greater good is such a
Isn't that scary?
tricky, slippery
Yeah.
slope.
Oh my gosh.
He could
Oh
have
my
also had
gosh.
faith in 11 that she'd be able to,
I know. And maybe he was right because he went and fed her some Eggos,
Yeah.
right?
You know?
He left some
Yeah.
Eggos that apparently maybe is like a continuing thing because they
but
disappear. I don't know.
But that teaser also made me feel like Eggos have taken a dark turn, right? It was a little surreal the way they used the Eggos commercial.
You know what? Fun fact: the founder of Eggos is Robert Eggo, Bob Eggo. We can't trust that son of a bitch.
It all comes around.
Wow.
Comes around.
Love that little commercial. That was great. I'm like, Wonder Years. Next thing, guys. Poor Nancy and Barb. Poor Nancy and Barb.
I
Okay,
know.
Barb is gone. I don't know if we're going to finally get hashtag justice for Barb.
Yeah.
But they talk about how Nancy lost Barb and Mike lost 11. These two characters, according to the co-creator Ross Duffer, they're the hardest ones hit because they did lose somebody. He said that she and Mike are both the most screwed up because they're the ones who both lost someone. They're both grappling with that, and we see the effects. So where do we see this morning taking these two characters, guys? What do we think?
This is best friend. This is big stuff, right?
Yeah.
This is best friend and first love business. So I feel like we're gonna find them, the brother and sister, in very dark places. How maybe they will come closer together. Dan, what do you think?
I think so. I mean, I agree. Poor Barb. I mean, yeah, there's a reason that people keyed into that, and people are like, "Oh, it's people are just making a big deal." The fact of the matter is, the show really did lose track of Barb.
Yes.
The effect that
Yeah.
Barb disappearing had on her parents,
Yes.
on everybody that knew her.
And the town, like this is a small town. Don't you feel
Yeah.
like a small town would be making a big deal out of like missing children?
Yes, they would, because it's one of those small towns where everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And if they have to cover up the fact that Will came back, everyone's going to be like, Barb? And they have to explain, like, oh, no,
Where'd Barb go? Yeah.
She definitely got kidnapped and murdered or something, like some awful thing, like she just disappeared. Like, that's horrible. That's horrible.
It's going to be interesting to see. I like that. I hope that they widen the scope a little bit because I want to know more about this town. Like, I like the idea that maybe there's a web of conspirators in this town and this stuff's been going on forever, and there's like a secret, it's like a hot fuzz thing. There's like a secret underground network of people just like, we got it. We got this,
Yeah.
shh.
Yeah, exactly. This
I
is our
like
town.
that.
We
I
gotta
think
keep
that's
it.
fun.
I mean, by the end of the first season, the brother and sister had already bonded by what they were going through. Avatar, do you think that's going to continue in season 2?
Yeah, of course. I think pain ties people together even more than joy does. But they do seem relatively well adjusted by the end of the first season.
That's true.
Nancy's like cozying up to Hair, you know.
Oh, hair.
And,
Love that. That's great. That wasn't the character's name, right?
No, can I
love
say
it.
that there's
Yeah.
a shocking lack of Steve Harrington news in this update on
Yeah.
Stranger Things season 2?
Are you worried?
I'm just curious to know because Steve Harrington, he was the worst.
Yes.
But then he was the best.
But then he was okay. He was okay.
Well, he got better. He wasn't the
got
best,
better.
but
He
he
got
was
better.
the worst.
Yes, he was.
Oh, I hated Steve Harrington.
and
and he
we all
redeemed
did.
himself in my eyes
But he had
toward
a
the
good
end.
head of hair. He kind of did. He got
did.
close. He got
He had a
close.
good card. He had a
I
good
felt
head.
like I was supposed to hate him, and then I just didn't.
Well, it's because we learned he was the father of John Ralphio. So
That's
Right,
right.
right.
So,
That
Parks and Rec,
helps.
right?
That really
Well,
helps.
also
Yeah.
you expect that he's gonna. I thought it was gonna be like in The Craft, where they like do it and then everybody's
him.
like whispering. Well, not
Calling
that,
the corners,
but more
calling on Minnow.
more the like everybody knows what's happened and everybody's whispering about
Yeah.
the good girl who's now seen as a slut. And
Sure.
instead he like really liked her
Yeah.
and was really sweet and didn't fall into any of the bad behavior.
I
that we
liked
expect.
that actually too.
Yeah.
I feel like by the end of it, I agree with you, Dan. Like I feel like he really did redeem himself
He
by
did.
the end of
The
it.
fact that he was cool with Bro giving his girlfriend a gift like a camera or whatever, or vice versa, like that really cemented it. Of like, oh, how did he like his gift? Like,
Also,
okay, you're not a jerk. All right.
Breaking that camera, he
Yeah.
wasn't being a jerk. That was creepy. That was like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you're spying
Yes,
on
good point.
shit.
Yes, good call. Yes,
I,
that's
liked-
true.
I thought he was like kind of a good guy.
I thought he was
consistently.
ultimately a good guy. It was also, I think, a smart move on the show's part to set up that trope, which we've seen
Sure.
so many times.
And to have him break away from the other bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, yeah,
absolutely.
that's true injustice. As Barb dies, but Steve Harrington's Punk Brigade lives on.
Come
By
on.
the way, I'm copywriting the name Steve Harrington's
Okay.
Punk Brigade.
And Avatar copyrighted
bad
hair,
name.
so we're
There
good.
you go.
We've got a lot. Those are copywritten Screen Junkies news, you guys. Okay, so along with Sean Astin's new Bob character,
Yeah,
that we're
Bob.
already against. We already hate this guy. There's a couple of new characters coming into the mix. A brother-sister duo named Billy and Max. They're played by Dacre Montgomery, Darcy Montgomery, I don't know, Dacre Montgomery, and Sadie Sink. The sister, Max, becomes a love interest for Lucas and Dustin. Are we going to see a fight over a girl between these two friends? Guys, is that potential? Look how adorable
Can I
they are.
just
Look at
say
that.
for a moment, she is as cute as a damn button.
Cute as the button
I
she's
mean,
holding.
my God, which will make me worry for her.
Mm.
Because you set up a kid that cute
Sure.
in a world this dark, I feel like you're going to take me through some
Is
emotional
it dark though?
roller
It's still
coasters.
Amblin. It's still an ET
It is.
flipping a bike over a van. Like it's still the good kids win in the end,
Yeah,
kind
all
of.
the cuties
Kind of.
survived.
All the cuties survived.
Yeah, but they're no.
Except for Barb.
Except for Barb.
That's very Barbist.
11 is missing, and he's throwing up slugs. So I don't.
Okay, fair point. Fair point,
You're
Roth. Fair
right,
point.
right.
Are we gonna? You guys, do you think we're gonna get a little
And now
love
we have
triangle?
Bob to deal with.
We got to talk about this too. 11 may be missing, but Avatar, there was a bit of a not a love triangle per se in season 1, but some of the best friends became a little bit jealous of 11
Yeah. It's
and
a,
the new attention. Yeah.
it's a different kind of love triangle.
Yeah.
It's the like bromance love. They get a little jealous, and I get that. You know, it's hard when your homie's got a girlfriend.
Exactly, man. When you're, I remember. We all remember that. That's
Yeah.
when we're growing up and our best friends are like, "But I want to spend time with the
Yeah.
The girl
with
for
the,
the-
with
or
the
the
girl
boy
or the
for the
boy
first
for a
time."
second." You're like,
Yeah.
"What? We have to play Nintendo 64. Where are you going?"
I remember
Why?
the first time a girl with telekinesis showed up at my school.
Yeah.
It was a very
Listen, dude,
difficult time.
If
for
I had
all
a
of us.
penny, I
Yeah.
mean,
I was that girl.
Oh, there you go.
I believe it, actually.
yeah, absolutely.
By that 100%.
Here's a really exciting thing, guys. Matt Duffer has said that Stephen King has always had really great human villains. The evil in the real world is often as bad or worse than the supernatural evil. So we want to introduce a character like that. There's a new character named Billy. This is this character, Billy. It sounds like we finally have a pretty awful bully to torment our gang of super friends. What do you think we can expect from this guy? We just threw up his picture a second ago. Billy is being sort of a human evil. What do you think?
What a great bully name.
Billy.
Billy and anything Billy, Johnny,
Yeah.
like, you know, that's a great 80s trope. It's like something Y.
Something with Y.
He's always the tormentor.
But Robbie's a cool guy.
Yeah.
We like Robbie.
We
What
like
about
Robbie.
Robbie?
Bobby?
Bobby.
Yeah. Could go either way. I don't know.
Could go either way.
All of a sudden
Yeah.
you had a
It's on
why to
the
that.
fence.
Could go
Yeah.
either way. But
different.
yeah. Are we going to get some of those classic Stephen King type, human villains, do you guys think?
I think so. I mean, I think we saw a little bit of like kind of the rising up and them finding their courage, but I think we'll see that probably that trope play out. But I also guess, because I still maintain that the monster from season 1 was something very unlike, because think about it, we're in the woods most of the time.
Sure.
I don't think that's necessarily the humanoid of that world or the
Right.
only creature in that world.
Okay.
I contend that it's like
think
an
there's a
animal.
more intelligent-
I feel like it's maybe a bear.
Sure.
But what I foresee for Billy is a horrible death.
Oh, wow.
What do you guys
Maybe by
foresee?
giant spider. That would be rad. That would be rad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Avatar, any thoughts? What do you think?
I guess I'm blanking on the bully's name in the first season, where
When they
Oh,
were
the-
on the
by the
on the
cliff.
cliff.
Or
yeah.
the made of
Yeah.
himself.
And they-
So great.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
nobody
had
cares
that
about his name.
moment.
Nobody cares.
Yes, but now we maybe don't have 11 to bail them out. And so it's kind of an
Oh, good
interesting
point.
contrast of having to see them really, and they are stepping up in season 1. They just would have been screwed.
Are they going to
And then-
become braver because of what they went through, even though they don't have 11?
I think
Are
they
we going to see
will.
them maybe shoot down a bully in a way that they wouldn't have in season 1? Or are they
Yeah.
going to be like, we don't have 11, we can't do that? I don't know.
If they can make a villain half as punchable as Percy from the Green Mile, then they'll have done Stephen King justice, because that is one of the most punchable human characters I've ever seen in any work of fiction, really.
Guys, next talking point, talking about what Roth was mentioning, some of the monsters that we can expect. The Duffer Brothers have an answer for that too. They're saying that they're exploring different kinds of horror, so maybe a more intelligent, sort of humanistic, humanoid character. They've also said that that Dustin is going to get a polywog-like pet that is a little creature that he gets to bond with, obviously not from this planet or dimension. What do we make of that, guys?
Wait.
Pull up.
They said not from. Did they say not from this planet?
The quote was from, I believe, the actor that plays Dustin. Is that right?
Yeah.
He said it's not from this planet or dimension, is what he said.
Can we make a meal out of that? Is there, because we saw what looked to be that spider creature that looked a lot like War of the Worlds to me. Do we have space coming into play?
I mean, listen, I think that it's either, you could go either way. You could say that whatever the Upside Down is in that realm, that is not planet Earth. You could argue that technically, like, well, that's not Earth, so they're from another planet. In the same way that when Mario goes to the Mushroom Kingdom, is that really Earth? No, it's it's like another planet, guys. It doesn't have the same continents.
Where Mario is Earth, though. I mean,
yeah,
arguably.
he comes from Brooklyn. He's a plumber from Brooklyn.
Well, he is. Oh, that's where
and he fought Donkey
originates.
Kong.
But when he's going through the levels,
sure, that's the
none
Mushroom
of that,
Kingdom. That's
yeah,
not Earth, right?
That's not Earth.
Is it another planet then?
I don't know. I think it's another dimension. Here,
okay,
here's an important distinction that I want. Thank you for the Mario references. Here's an important distinction, and Dan, weigh in on this as a sci-fi person. There's a difference between alternate dimensions, alternate universes, and alternate timelines, right?
Sure. Okay,
like alternate dimensions is where you have like the amoeba people, like you have in Stranger Things, things that are very unlike Earth. Alternate universes are our universe, just slightly different. Every single choice you make could create an alternate universe,
the mirror
but
universe
it's still
in Star Trek.
Yes.
Well, alternate. I feel like Dr. Clifford V. Johnson should be here to weigh in on this. Yes. Well, the way that he when we did the Upside, we actually did a movie science episode of Stranger Things. Which, if you want to know more about the science, just check it out. It's over on ScreenJunkies. But the way that he described alternate universes was it's like a book. And you're on a page of that book, and there's a page on either side of you, but I'm not doing it justice the way that he did, but you can only see the page that you're on, and that alternate universe could be the next page, you just can't see it while you're here, and that there's pages in a book, and alternate timelines is a whole other thing. That's a whole physics thing.
But I mean, honestly,
you should go watch that because he can explain it much better than I can. But yes, I like the idea that they're kind of grounding this in science a little bit.
Sure.
And exploring the realm of dimensions, alternate universes, alternate timelines.
Let's unpack that word planet. Avatar, do you think that this little creature could come from another planet?
I'm guessing that he's just from the Upside Down. That's still, but maybe this is opened up to space. Maybe this is a whole new. I just think that they're already sort of unpacking so much, and so much is set up in season 1 that I'm content to just keep exploring that.
Maybe the Upside Down is another planet. No, it's not, because it kind of looked like Earth. But
it's another dimension.
It's another dimension. I was going to say it's a portal to another. Nope, I'm wrong. Okay, great. Look at that giant spider thing. What the hell is that?
That was like an alien.
The mist? That's awesome.
Oh yeah, the mist.
God, I flipped out when I saw that. That was great, right?
That's fun.
Finally, guys, there is 11 who apparently died last season, right? She exploded with the Demogorgon, which some people are saying was actually a manifestation of her anger. That's a whole nother thing. I love that. That's great. Right? You're welcome. But did she die? I don't know. Here's what we learned from the Duffer Brothers. This is what they said. We do get into her story and backstory. We learn about where she came from and how she came into the world and the program that resulted her. And the actress, the fantastic Millie Bobby Brown, said she's got a storyline this season for her, and it's an emotional transition. Last season, I didn't get to expand on the character. This season is giving me that opportunity. That's incredibly exciting. Avatar, how excited are you to see the continuation of the character 11?
Very excited. It also makes me wonder if Matthew Modine's character is still around.
He got mauled.
Right.
But people asked him on Twitter, like, are you dead? And he's like, maybe not. Like, he was teasing fans.
Well,
absolutely.
If he were dead, I felt like that was sort of not doing his character justice. Like,
Justice
he was such
for
a
Modine.
big villain, and it's a weird thing because I love him, and clearly you hate him in it too.
Sure.
And so you
We didn't
want
get the closure.
Yeah, we didn't really get the satisfaction of seeing him go in a way that is deserving of what a badass he is.
That's a great point.
I think he's Mo Dunn.
When I said that he was tweeting, Dan, you were like, I don't know. You got real cynical. You had a cynical face.
Well,
like,
I think he's a working actor. And he'd be like, I don't know, maybe I'm alive. Call me. I think that's every. I think if he had died in a wood chipper accident, he'd be like, I don't know, maybe call me.
They could bring me back. This show's crazy.
Plus flashbacks. plus
Absolutely.
anything else.
That's true.
I think we might see Matthew Modine again,
Okay.
but I don't know if he's still kicking around in the world
Okay.
as we know it. 'Cause
Ralph,
he-
any thoughts about how Eleven's coming back? So she didn't die. What's the plan? What do we think?
I feel like she is going to be our big entryway into the Upside Down. Like, I feel like she's there and trying to find her way out. And then,
So she teleported herself into the Upside Down.
yeah, and that we're going to follow her journey, and that's how we're going to learn more about that world.
She's going to be the new Will Byers.
Yeah, and
They're
maybe
trying to
when
get
she
out.
does get back, she brings that spider with her.
Oh. Guys, what if she turns into the spider? What if she's the spider?
No, what
That
if
would be
she
stupid.
is?
That's
And
real
then she's
dumb.
trapped in that body trying to be like, but I'm 11, you like me. And then they're just like, no, it's a monster. And then it's a whole Frankenstein play.
Oh
Kafkaesque all of a
Wow.
sudden.
Absolutely. Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. Guys, we've got on the social media cam Charlie Feldman. Charlie, what do we have? What's the internet saying about Stranger Things Season 2?
So the internet is also saying we've got Paul Reiser in Stranger Things as
right.
the head of the government facility. We'll be interested if it's like a character
And he's
from
gonna say-
like
Aliens-esque.
Yeah.
He's going to
Yes.
send Sigourney
Be a
Weaver to
company
the
man.
planet. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we asked Twitter, what questions do you have from the first season? We got some great responses. Eric Monroe asked, is 11 just one of 11? Can we be 10 and 9?
Whoa.
It's a very,
Holy
X-Files
crap.
had an episode. That's where we get the band Eve 6 because it
12.
was all the Eves.
Guys, remember when Weapon X was revealed to be Weapon 10? Comic book fans were like, what? Anyway, keep
Yeah.
going.
What if Bob is number one?
What? That son of a
Would
Bob.
be.
Bob.
Bob Newhart is
that'd be cool.
delightful, by the way.
Yeah, he is. There are some exceptions to the Bobs.
Yeah.
There's some good Bobs out there.
Pop Up Airport is brilliant.
Yes, that's true. Bob Saget, the worst. All right,
Oh,
Charlie.
wow.
We also have Why I Love Movies. Who wants? The question is, will there be blueberry waffles this time? Because they're obviously the best flavor.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very cute.
Strawberry,
Peter
but, yeah.
Kosanovich asked, where are Lucas's parents? And I would add, where are Dustin's parents? Are we going to get backstory
Yes.
on their family since we got so much of Will
Absolutely.
and Mike?
I think that great SNL sketch really made a lot of people ask, wait, where are Lucas's parents? When his very black parents came out and like, no, you're not doing that. You're not going to go off on some bike. Like, I got to help. That was such a great sketch. It was fantastic and pointed out a lot of stuff. Characters we didn't get to see, really, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Which was great. So, cool. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's it. I think that's everything that we can talk about. Stranger Things Season 2. We're obviously very excited. Huge thanks to my panel. Avatal, do you want to tell everybody on the internet about a cool thing that you did?
I made a web series called 7P10E. It's at 7p10e.com, and it is going to pilot for the second time at CBS.
Yay!
That's awesome.
Check it out.
7p10e.com. There we go.
Yeah, we made it for $60, and it's cool that it's like still alive in different iterations. So
That's
hopefully-
awesome.
Can
you
I
give us a little
pitch
premise?
this thing? Because I've
Yeah.
seen
You'll do
it.
better than I do.
What is it about? What's the premise of it?
Yeah, Roth, tell us.
So the premise of this, and it's so great because it's so simple and it's so beautifully executed and well acted, and Avatar is amazing as a creator and an actor. But the simple premise is that there's a woman who lives on the East Coast in New York, and a man who lives on the West Coast in Los Angeles, and their friends want them to meet. And so they start a Skype conversation, and you see the evolution of their relationship via these Skype conversations. The whole thing will take you about an hour to watch, and roughly
Yeah, maybe
a
closer to
little,
two. Maybe an hour and a half,
It
let's
feels
say.
like 10 minutes because it's so
awesome.
good, and it will just
Awesome.
captivate you, and it's wonderful.
That's so nice.
That's so great. I
Thanks, Roth.
tried long distance. I can't do it. Can't do the long distance relationship.
Yeah.
Real tough.
No, it's a nightmare.
Real
Don't
tough.
do it.
Holy crap, real tough. But big thanks to our panel. Avatar, thank you so much for being
Thank you
here.
for having
Roth
me.
Cornett, Dan Merle, Charlie Feldman on the social media cam. Thank you so much, Charlie. You're the best. Chaz, you're the best. Guys, thank you guys for watching. We want to know what you think. What are your lingering questions from Stranger Things Season 1? What are you most looking forward to in Season 2? What's got you most excited about everything we just went through? You guys can always be clicking right here for new videos. We're here every single day. You can be tweeting at us at SJ News. I'm Hector Navarro. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.